Hey friends, Donovan here with Ernie Williamson Music and Trumpet Thoughts. You'll have to forgive the messy background here. If I turn around and face the windows, it's a cleaner, nicer view. But with the light coming in from the windows, it makes it generally too dark. The struggle is real, y'all. Speaking of struggles, let's talk about that. That's kind of what I want to talk about today. I'm going to do two different videos today. I'll upload them at different paces due to the YouTube algorithm, and also just to give you time to ponder each of the things I'm bringing up. It's a lovely snowy day here in Springfield, Missouri, and thought I would share something with you. So, lately I've been sharing quite a lot about my journey with the Tongue Controlled Embouchure, Jerry Callett's and Bob Civility system, also called TCE, also often called Super Chops, whatever you want to call it. And, I've been having some success with that, and doing all of my playing that way, and it's definitely helped me improve things that I'm working on. And honestly, lately I've had some challenges with it that I'm going to talk about in another video about lip placement, and just because you do this thing doesn't mean that all of a sudden all of your problems are solved forever. But I thought what it might be interesting today is to talk about where I'm struggling with it. Because the point of these videos isn't like for me to necessarily just to teach you something or to advocate for a system or anything like that. It's really just to sort of share my journey and my thoughts, and because I think there's kind of some comfort in that misery loves company. And knowing that other people are going through the slog just like you are here. I'm trying to straighten out my camera here. Sometimes can be comforting, but then when I've heard from several of you already that like those light bulb moments that I've shared have been helpful for you too. And so I figured I would kind of talk about what I can't do yet. So I've shared a fair amount with the increase in endurance has been significant, and like the presence of my sound and overall just confidence in my playing abilities, and how there's just been a overall just like kind of level up, I think, in terms of my overall playing. But where I've found struggles are still like learning to be able. So the thing with TC, of course, is our tongue is through our teeth, and it's in contact with both of the lips, and it's really easy to get these like really percussive popping articulations. Like that's what you're training, that's what you're working on. Not because you're going to always use that, but by going to that extreme is how you build that your tongue muscle and build that coordination. And so I've got pretty good at that. But now what's harder is to keep that same interaction with the tongue and the lips, but not have it just constantly do that. And this is interesting. I actually haven't done this example before, but this is a pretty accurate example of what it's like to use TC for articulating. It obviously does like this great. You can just hear that snap, It's the same way with your normal articulations. But even at softer, there's still this little pop to it. And so part of it with your ear with TC is training it to appreciate that little pop, even on every articulation. But getting that to be consistent sometimes has been hard. The other thing that I've had a hard time with, and this will sound like kind of like a humble brag, but I mean it truly, is because playing with this TCE gives you so much more like horsepower. Dang, man, there's times where I just get a little too spicy on my playing, I mean, there's just times it's just, I'm a little too aggressive if it's too much. But it's so fun to do it. I just kind of let her rip and deal with the complaints later. So sometimes that's a challenge. But realistically, the problems that I'm having is, one of my playing goals. So I really enjoy being a commercial player. And by commercial player, I mean like, I'm playing everything from I'm playing in like, wind ensembles and I'm playing in big bands, and I'm playing in British style brass bands. I got my cornet over there. I'm playing in chamber orchestras. Like I'm playing in all kinds of stuff. I'm playing pits and musicals. Like I just love all that kind of stuff. And I love that I'm versatile enough to be able to do all that. But what I really want to be able to do is I want to be a really good lead player. And I mentioned in a previous video that there's a guy in town in Springfield. He's the best lead player here in town, and super nice guy, and just great player. And he's one of those players that, as far as I can tell, he doesn't really know really what he's doing. He's always, and by know what he's doing, I mean like he can't tell you, like he doesn't follow like a playing system or whatever. And from what I can tell, I think he's just been one of those guys that ever since like middle school, high school, like he's kind of been able to do this, just like Wayne Bergeron, Maynard Ferguson, like all those cats. Like that's kind of him. And so if you ask him like, Bryant, how do you do this? Like he can't say, oh yeah, this is what I do. He can't teach it. But dang it, he sounds good. He just has such a great sound. In all the years I've played with him, I can count the number of times I've heard him like sound tired on one hand and have plenty of fingers left over. And even then, I don't know that the audience could tell, but I could just tell like, oh, I think he's getting a little tired. And he's a good reader. He plays with like good style, but more than anything, like, I love his sound and his range and his consistency, and his endurance. Like it's just, I just played a show. We did a Christmas show with the Missouri Jazz Orchestra, and brought in some singers and did a bunch of pro arrangements for Christmas stuff. Played it at one of the really nice theaters here in town, and we did one of the tunes off the Harry Connick Christmas album. And honest to God, sitting next to Bryant listening to play lead, it was like sitting next to Roger Ingram. Like it sounded like the recording. I can't do that. I still can't do that, and that's what I'm trying to do. And there's times I get really frustrated, because like that's my goal, Now I know I think I can do things maybe that this other guy can't do, but I don't care. I want to be able to do that, and so that's what I'm working on. Now I can play lead. I've got to play lead next week for the Missouri Jazz Orchestra because Bryant's going to be out. But if I'm being honest, there is a noticeable difference when he's playing lead and when I'm playing lead. It's just not, I'm not as good as is at it, and that's what I'm trying to get to. And my issues that I still have are consistency, having the right endurance for that is important, and I've got good sound and phrasing and stuff like that. And I've got enough range. Being able to reliably use that range and pull it in is where it's tricky. So that's what I'm working on, and that's what I continue to try to figure out is how to get there. And it's we see lots of cases of these folks that have been just tremendous lead players going back to high school, and there's not a whole lot of cases for guys that are playing at that level. But have had to like learn it, like be self-taught on the chop side of it. There are some out there for sure, but that path it's not super clear. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out. And I think a lot of you, if you're watching this channel, you're in the same boat. You're also trying to figure that out. You're trying to figure out like, how do I get better, and able to play in the way that I want to be able to play, even though I'm not like a natural player. And I think the idea of that natural player is something maybe worth discussing in a future video. So, but anyway, that's just my challenges that I'm having with TC right now. And, something to continue to work on, and I'm going to keep working on it. So I don't want to, I just didn't want to leave you with the impression that like everything that I'm doing is just like, I no longer have any playing challenges and, everything's perfect. I'm still trying to sort this stuff out. While I've seen a lot of improvement with TC, I'm still not playing at the level I want. And to be fair, maybe the level I want might not be realistic. It may not be realistic in that, like, maybe I just can't. Maybe I don't have the physiology or the right concept to do it. Maybe the fact that I don't practice enough is probably not helping. So it just may not ever be possible. But that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to get. And I guess, it's one of those things that we always keep pushing the goalposts forward. So we never quite get there. We're chasing the horizon here. So, but yeah, I just want to share that with you. I feel like with TC, I've made a lot of progress and a lot of improvement. Have a much better understanding of the horn than I've had before. But still slogging away at this thing, trying to figure it out. So how about you? You in the same boat? I'm sure you are. Go ahead and share in the comments how you're feeling. See ya.